Hi, welcome to my workshop. My name's Darren, this is steel. Today I'll show you how to make box joints or finger joints using an Incra Ultra jig. The great thing about the Incra jig is how repeatable the cuts are, and the reason they're so repeatable is they rely on these racks with teeth. So I'll show you how that works. The carriage of the Incra system is where all the magic really happens, and that's because of these little toothed or indexed racks down in here. These green ones are metric. You can also get imperial, which I've seen in blue and I think black. But if you watch the little teeth there, I'm doing this freehand, so excuse how jumpy it is, but you can see I've got a little lever here for locking those teeth in place. At the moment it's unlocked. So if I come down close, you can see that those teeth lock in. And that's what gives us our accuracy and repeatability. It's very easy to make the teeth lock into the same position each time. Those teeth are spaced 1 millimeter apart, so if you're off by 1/4 of a millimeter or something, you'll just pop into the nearest millimeter, which makes it very repeatable. If you need to get to measurements in between 1 millimeter, we've got this little thing here, which unfortunately is in imperial, because originally this whole thing was an imperial system and I've had to change over the racks. But 1/32 is just under 1 millimeter, so if you keep that in mind, you can use that to adjust quite easily. Plus you can see how much it's adjusting over here on the cursor. Okay, if we round these up into broad groups, there's about 5 stages to the process. Stage 1 is to prepare your wood. Stage 2, select your template and bit. That's the size of my box, all prepared, ready to go. So now what we need is we grab our template reference guide and we're going to pick which of the box joint jigs we will use. I don't have a 6mm bit, so that's out of the question. Again, 6mm, 8mm. I do have an 8mm straight bit. Let's have a look. If we center this around the 12 here, that being the center. There we go. Yep, I think that's going to be perfect. So what I'm basically doing is just looking to see how many we'll cut, and if we've got any half pins or half fingers at the end that they're big enough that they're not just going to snap off. So this will be ideal. So we're going to use M box C as our template. Got our 8mm router bit ready to go. So I've got template M box C in the channel here ready to go. Stage 3, center the bit on the wood. The traditional way to center your router bit on your piece of wood is to run a trench through the wood, spin your piece of wood around and start and do a partial trench back the other way and see if there's an offset between the two fences. Correct for that, do it again, correct for that, do it again. It's a long process, I don't like it, but Incra came up with a better idea anyway. This is the Incra Auto Center. And what it does, you get a little pin, comes with it. That's just my collet adapter for the router, but you pop your pin into your router chuck, and then this auto centering jig over the pin, pop your piece of timber in there and line that up with the edges, line the edges of that up with your fence and push the whole lot forward until the washer at this end also contacts the edge of your fence. So if you've got contact there and all along your piece of timber, you're centered. Then lock your cam lock in place at the back so it doesn't move. And then we align our cursor here up with our measurements on the actual template. We're going to go with the 12A because that's pretty darn close to the center of the template. And there we go, you can see we're aligned now. 4, make all your A cuts. And we want the height of our router bit to be just slightly more than the width of the wood. So as our pins will stick past each other once it's made, ever so slightly, and we can sand them flush with the edge of our wood. So here we go, we're going to lower this. All right, that is just a fraction now. That's about a hair's width taller. Now I'm going to put an extra piece of wood at the back here to stop breakout at the back of the wood as we cut through. And I'm going to cut 2 pieces at once, which we can do with finger joints because they're all nice straight lines. There we go. So there's our first set of cuts ready to go, and that clamp's not big enough. All right, the great thing about hand screws is they have a good depth of reach, so you can clamp way down here where we need to. Also, they put out a hell of amount of force, a lot of clamping pressure in hand screws. These are the sides of the box. I'm just going to do the A cuts first, which are all internal, meaning there's no edge cuts. It's important, the difference, and I'll show you why when we get up to the edge cuts. So now we need to flip the boards over, and here's an important thing to keep in mind. As you are flipping the boards over, the side that's against the fence needs to stay against the fence. That's so as everything aligns properly afterwards. All right, that's 2 sides done. As you can see, that's very quick. We'll put those aside. And 5, make all your B cuts. And that's it. Move on to our next ones. We're going to flip this block up the other way, because obviously they're going to be in the wrong spots for us now. So we'll flip that up. Same sides against the fence again. Okay, so on this set of cuts, I mentioned before, you have to be careful as far as taking the edges away in small increments so as not to get tear out on your sides there. So let's have a look at that. So we're on the B cuts now. And so our first B cut is going to be 10B, but we're not going to go straight to 10B. We're literally going to shave off some very thin shavings first off this end, and we'll do the same at the other end as well. We'll sneak up on that cut. With the B's, I snuck up on the cut. So before I got all the way through to 10B, I did a cut off to the side, edged a little bit closer, did another cut, and then finally on there.
Now we'll take the focus on the other end, again being careful to keep the same side against the fence.
Okay, and so that's our finger joints made, or box joints if you prefer. All nice and neat, like so. They are a tight fit. There we go. And you can see here what I'm talking about with just a tiny bit of the fingers sticking up above the surface ready to be sanded down. So there's a bit of a close-up look at the finger joints there. They're very quick to make on the Incra system and very easy. Okay, so as you can see, making finger joints or box joints on an Incra fence system is quick, it's simple and nicely repeatable. So you get very consistent results. Hopefully that's been of some help. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.